Good evening, brothers and sisters in Scouting. My dear Scouts and Scout leaders and dear parents. Today is another historical day for the Sri Lanka Scout Association. 1,000 plus Scouts are ready to join for a worthy cause, while 250 plus adult leaders are getting ready for their training in Better World Framework badges. So let me welcome you all for the launching of Tide Turner's Plastic Challenge Pilot Project, which is supported by Asia Pacific Regional Support Center of the World Organization of the Scout Movement. And for the today's second launching, Better World Framework training workshops in order to train district coordinators for all 7 Better World Framework badges, representing all 37 districts of Sri Lanka Scout Association. Before moving to today's program, let us watch a video and see how plastic affects badly to our ecosystem. Representing all 37 districts of Sri Lanka. Let us watch the video and see To start with today's program, let me invite the leader of the previously mentioned task, Assistant Chief Commissioner of Sri Lanka Scout Association, who is the in charge of Better World Framework initiatives, Mr. Prabhat Kularatne, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Prabhat, you are muted.
Mr. Prabhat, you are muted.
Now you can hear, no?
Yes.
Good evening, all of you. Today, Marcus. Can you hear now?
All right, now, okay.
Can.
Thank you.
Yes, okay.
Good evening to all of you. Today marks a special day in the calendar of Sri Lanka Scout Association. On this occasion, I warmly welcome President of Sri Lanka Scout Council, Mr. Meril Gunatilaka, Chief Scout Commissioner, Major General Milinda Piris, whose guidance is very much appreciated in this inauguration of this program. Thank you very much, sir. Your guidance highly appreciated. Chairman of Committee of the Council, Mr. Kapila Kalyana Pereira, Deputy Chief Commissioner, Mr. Janafit Fernando, Member of World Scout Committee, with his vast knowledge in international scouting, who made this implementation possible. My good friend, Sid Castello, Director APR, I would like to welcome you, sir. Secretary, Sri Lanka Scout Council, and Treasurer, Sri Lanka Scout Council, I would like to welcome. National Training Commissioner, National Program Commissioner, International Commissioner, Assistant Chief Commissioners, Special Commissioners, Headquarters Commissioners, District Commissioners, Assistant Program Commissioners, I would like to welcome on this occasion. Today we are the team would like to introduce first time in Better World Framework Batch Series to the training program to our Scout Sri Lanka. Better World Framework badges which would task our Scout further step which is being introduced by Vasam and adapted according to Sri Lanka need, which gives the Scouts great knowledge with great challenges face the world in while and how to tackle those challenges successfully. Our coordinators would be trained by the series of workshop in the coming the days scout to successfully complete those badges. Today we are mark a day of inauguration of the implementation pilot project Tide Turner's Plastic Challenge. To make all these activities successful, there is an important person behind the scene at WASM, Asia Pacific region. Its good friend Sid Castello, without whose assistance and support this would not success. Sid, we highly appreciate your valuable support and guidance. Also in our team, I cannot ignore support given to us National Program Commissioner Mr. Matararachi and his great team who are able to guide us accommodate this program in national syllabus. Also, I must mention my team, Better World Framework core team members who make great sacrifice to make this program a success. Especially, I must start to contribution made by HUC Dr. Asankeriava is very great. From the inaugural session to train workshop would be conducted every week virtually. Hope our district coordinators would join with us to obtain a necessary training for the successfully implementation of those international badges. Once again, last not least, thank you very much for joining this inaugural session today. Doctor, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Let us move into the trailer video of today's program. Let me explain a bit about today's program and the training schedules for the coming days. So Sri Lanka Scout Association has already launched 7 Better World Framework badges, namely Messengers of Peace, Champions for Nature, Titans Plastic, Scout Go Solo Challenge, Dialogue of Peace, Scouts of the World Award and Petrometer Scout badge, and it was implemented in all the sections. So as shown in this diagram. So for each initiative, Sri Lanka Scout Association has appointed a National Scout Organization Coordinator, so who will be coordinating all the activities at national and district levels. And Titans Plastic Challenge, which is a pilot project, which is coordinated by Asia Pacific Regional Support Center will be one of the main tasks of today's program. For each batch from each district, that means from Sri Lanka Scout Association, we have 37 Scout districts. All 37 districts has already appointed district coordinators for all 7 Better World initiatives. So during this program, so actually we have 2 main tasks today. That is, one is the launching of Tide Turners Plastic Challenge pilot project. More than 1,000 scouts will be enrolling in this particular pilot project. So the contribution is 200 Cub Scouts, 350 Junior Scouts, 350 Senior Scouts, and 100 plus Rover Scouts. And those have been selected from 18 Scout districts out of 37. So the selection criteria was the first come first serve basis. And once they have shortlisted, so we have divided the slots according to the 2019 annual census. So to start with this Tide Turners Plastic Challenge pilot project, so we'll be conducting our training program for district coordinators on 30th January using an online platform. And on 6th February onwards, we'll be commencing the Tide Turners Plastic Bag Challenge for the young people. That means for the Cubs, separate program, for Junior Scouts, separate program, for Senior Scouts and Rovers, there will be a separate program in different sections. So time period for the community service project, we'll be allocating them, we will be assigning them the task of community service project from 1st to 20th March 2021, and we are expecting to complete the project by 31st March 2021. So as APR has given us some key performance indicators, we expect to complete at least 30% of the badges. That means at least 300 scouts will be getting their badge during this time period. So we try to make it at least 50%. So regarding the second activity of today's program, so we'll be launching the Better Well Framework training workshops. So for these all 7 Better Well Framework badges, and this is a training schedule. So in every Saturday, we'll be conducting online training session for these each initiative to train these district coordinators for each Better Well Framework initiative. And they will be acting as the badge examiners for their districts to train scouts. So, in addition, we have 2 more completed using a particular badge, diversity and inclusion scouting and scenes accreditation. So we'll be conducting 2 more sessions to cover those 2 sessions as well. So that is the program in brief, and we'll be in contact with all 1,000 plus scouts. We have made WhatsApp groups and email chains to communicate with them in proper manner. And all 1,000 scouts are now at the moment, they are joining live in YouTube Live. And so we will be in contact with them according to time schedule, which you have provided. Thank you very much. Dear Scouts and Scout leaders, this is the most awaited moment of today's program. That is the launching of Tide Turners Plastic Challenge, pilot batch of the Asia Pacific Regional and Better World Framework training workshops. I would like to invite the Chief Commissioner of Sri Lanka Scout Association, Major General William Piris, to launch today's event. Over to you, sir.
I hereby state that the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge pilot project of Asia Pacific Region Support Center and Better World Framework training workshops of Sri Lanka Scouts Association declare open.
Nine, eight, seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Representing the Asia Pacific Regional Support Center of the World Organization of the Scout Movement, we have three special guests today. Mr. Sid Castillo, Director Educational Methods of APR Regional Support Center, who is the keynote speaker today, and Mrs. RJ Franz Camaros, Assistant of the Youth Program Section, and Mr. Aaron Lopez, the Project Officer of Educational Methods. I would like to invite Mr. Sid Castillo, the Director, Youth Methods, Asia Pacific Regional Support Center of the World Organization of the Scout Movement, to deliver today's keynote speech. Over to you, sir.
Ayubowan and greetings from Manila, Philippines. My dear friends, have you ever asked yourselves why are we doing all this? Have we ever asked ourselves, why are we doing scouting? Why did you join scouting? Scouting's mission is to contribute to the education of young people, to help build a better world where people are self-fulfilled as individuals and play a constructive role in society. We would like Scouts to become responsible, active global citizens. And related to this, Scouting decided to contribute to achieving the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, which officially came into force in January 2016 as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So, why do we involve ourselves with the SDGs? Well, because it is high time that scouting should be a part of the global agenda on sustainable development to help achieve the movement's vision of being the leading educational youth movement on global citizenship. Activities and challenges under the Better World Framework are Scouting's contribution to achieving the SDGs. When you do these activities and challenges, we contribute to a specific SDG, and at the same time, we develop competencies for sustainable development in young people. Taking part in this global agenda of SDG ensures scouting continued relevance in society. Therefore, on behalf of the Asia Pacific region, let me congratulate Sri Lanka Scouts Association for launching this series of Better World Framework training workshops, which includes the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge. According to Carol Muffet, the president and CEO of Center for International Environmental Law, emissions from producing and incinerating plastic could amount to 56 gigatons of carbon. So that is almost 50 times the annual emission of all the coal power plants in the US. But let us look at Sri Lanka. Based on research by Lakshman Kadiragamar Institute, there are 1.59 million metric tons of mismanaged plastic in Sri Lanka. Can you imagine that? 1.59 million metric tons every year. So to put this into context, if the average weight of an adult Sri Lankan elephant, or aliyah, is 12,000 kilograms, the plastic waste of Sri Lanka is equivalent to the weight of 300,000 adult elephants. And sadly, as you have seen in the video, much of this ends up in the ocean. The economic effects of plastic pollution have felt in Sri Lanka. Studies suggest that microplastics, as you have seen in the video, is one of the main causes of rapidly declining fishing stocks along the Sri Lankan coast, with fish resources plummeting from 300,000 tons in 1980 to just 53,000 tons in 2018. That is 17.67% decrease in fish resources in 38 years and this is because of microplastics. This is one of the main reasons why we invited Sri Lanka Scout Association to pilot test the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge in your country. May this workshop empower Scout leaders to initially make 1,000 Scouts aware of the impact of single-use plastic through the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge, and on top of that, 300 Scouts earning the challenge badge by 31 March 2021. With the environmental realities present in Sri Lanka, we are more convinced that it should be a long-term goal of Sri Lanka Scout Association to incorporate the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge into its progressive or advancement scheme. We need more Scouts as responsible, active global citizens. Let us show to the people of Sri Lanka that Scouts has a stake in nation building, that we are actively contributing to the goals of the government and the vision of the nation. Again, congratulations to Sri Lanka Scouts Association for being one of the 18 countries pilot testing the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge badge. Boom Stuti, thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, sir. Dear Scouts, adult leaders, and distinguished guests. So let me invite today's guest of honor of the event, the member of the World Scout Committee and Deputy Chief Commissioner of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, Mr. Janaprit Fernando, to add his valuable thoughts to make the event more colorful. Over to you, sir. Janaprit, sir.
Good evening. Yes, I am Shan Jagude. Sorry, pardon, please.
While Deputy Chief Commissioner is joining, let us move into the next item of today's agenda. So we have a lot of success stories within Sri Lanka for the plastic problem. Let me invite you to watch an inspirational video to see how a 17-year-old girl becomes successful in giving a clever solution for the plastic problem in Sri Lanka. So let's have a look.
මගේ නව සොයාගැනීමක් කියන ලන්ෂීට් භාවිතයට විසඳුමක් විදිහට මේක නිෂ්පාදනය කළේ. වර්තමානයේ තියෙන ලොකු ගැටලුවක් තමයි පොලිතින් භාවිතය කියන ලන්ෂීට් භාවිතය. ඒක පරිසරයටත් ගොඩක් හානිදායකයි. ඒ වගේම අපිට සත්තුන්ට ඒකෙන් කියන අතුරු මේ විපාක ගොඩක් විඳින්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඒකට විසඳුමක් වෙයි කියලා හිතනවා මේක පරිසර හිතකාමී ඒ කියන්නේ අමුද්‍රව්‍යයක් දිරාපත් වෙනවා. අපිට මේක සෝදලා නැවත නැවත භාවිතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් හැම ඒ කියන්නේ පාසල් දරුවෝ රැකියාවලට යන හැමෝම කෑම එකක් රැගෙන යනවා නිතිපතා. ඒකට දැන් ගොඩක් අය භාවිතා කරන්නේ ලන්ච් බොක්ස් එක. ඒකේ අපි රැගෙන ලන්ච් බොක්ස් එකේ රැගෙන යනකොට අපිට බෑග් එකේ ඉඩ ප්‍රමාණයක් වැය වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපි ආහාරය ගත්තට පස්සෙත් ඒ ඉඩ ප්‍රමාණය හැමම වැය වෙනවා. මේකෙන් ඒ කියන්නේ ආවාසදායක තත්ත්වය මේ මග හැරෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේකට අඩු ඉඩ ප්‍රමාණයක් යන පහසුයි භාවිතය කාර්යගත බවල ගෘහණියට මේක භාවිතය පහසුයි.
Dear Scouts, adult leaders and distinguished guests, let me invite today's guest of honor of the event, member of the World Scout Committee and Deputy Chief Commissioner of Sri Lanka Scout Association, Mr. Janaprit Fernando, to add his valuable thoughts to make the event more colorful. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, Chief Commissioner, Major General Milinda Piris, Director APR, Mr. Sid Castillo, National Program Commissioner, Assistant Chief Commissioners, District Commissioners, Assistant District Commissioner Program, Better World Framework Coordinators, and my dear friends. Firstly, may I apologize for the delay in joining as there was a technical hiccup and I got disconnected. However, I must congratulate the Sri Lanka Scout Association and the team led by Prabhat Kularatna for this initiative of introducing the Better World Framework badges for the Sri Lanka Scout Association. I must also thank the WUSM APR Support Center for the confidence placed in Sri Lanka Scout Association to start the pilot project of Tide Turner plastic badge, because this is a revolutionary badge. As mentioned by Sid a while ago, the amount of plastic which is collected and which gets collected in the environment is so frightening, because today there are several species who are dying in this world due to the plastic being introduced by human beings to the environment. And that is a big responsibility we as scouts have to control this, not only in Sri Lanka, but throughout the world. So the pilot project which has been given to Sri Lanka under the auspices of the APR is a great opportunity for Sri Lanka Scouts to get involved in this life-changing experience for the Scouts. I must congratulate all the 1,000 Cubs and Scouts for joining this project today onwards in order to make a better world for Sri Lanka. My dear friends, as mentioned by the organizing commissioner, Mr. Prabhat Kularatna, the support we have got from our Chief Commissioner, Major General Milinda Piris, in all our activities is highly commendable. That is the reason that in the last 12 months, under his stewardship, we have been able to introduce many new ideas, new policies, and this type of new badges. And the support given by the APR Support Center, led by our Regional Director, Mr. J.R. Pangilinan, and brothers like Sid Castillo, Prasanna Srivastava, Tian Boone, all of them have always been supportive of our initiatives. And I must thank all of them on behalf of the Sri Lanka Scout Association. My dear friends, this is a great opportunity we have got, and especially for the Cubs and the Scouts. You all are embarking today on a new project where you will be entitled to pass 7 Better World Framework badges. These are all international badges on an international syllabus, but changed to suit the local standards. Therefore, I encourage all of you to please learn from this experience and then share it with your brother Scouts. And I encourage the ADCs of the districts to please ensure that this message goes to all the Scout leaders and the Arkelas in our districts, so that our Scouts will be fully equipped in supporting the Sustainable Development Goals or the SDGs by passing these Better World Framework badges. It's twofold because the boys will have a badge, plus we will be taking part or we will be participants in the United Nations SDG achievement. So on behalf of the World Scout Committee, the chairman, Craig Turpy, and all the other brothers and sisters from the World Scout Committee, I bring greetings and best wishes for Sri Lanka Scout Association in carrying out this great project of Better World Framework and Tight Turner Plastic Challenge. I wish all of you all the very best. Thank you very much for the invite and for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, dear brothers and sisters in Scouting, we have a few special guests today here with us to add greetings for this inaugural ceremony. So, let me invite National Program Commissioner of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, Mrs. Sarat Mazararachi, to address the gathering.
Good evening, all of you. The Chief Commissioner of Sri Lanka Scout Association and the chief guest for this prestigious occasion, the launching of the Titan Plastic Challenge pilot project of Asia Pacific region and the Better World Framework Training Workshop of Sri Lanka Scout Association, Major General Mininder Piris, Mr. Sid Castello, Director Education Methods, Asia Pacific Regional Support Center of WASM, and who have given the keynote address for this memorable occasion. Mr. Meril Gunatilaka, the President of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, Mr. Kapila Kalyana Perula, Chairman of the Committee of the Council of Sri Lanka Scout Association, Mr. Janaprit Fernandu, the Deputy Chief Commissioner and the member of World Scout Committee, Mr. Kamalnath Jinadasa, the Secretary, Mr. Uday Iddavala, the Treasurer, Mr. Nanda Fernandu, National Training Commissioner, and Dr. Rajiv Piris, International Commissioner, Senior Commissioners of SLSA, Headquarters Commissioners, District Commissioners, Assistant District Commissioners, District Coordinators of the Better World, other invitees. As a National Training Commissioner, National Program Commissioner of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, I am privileged to convey the greetings on behalf of the National Program team on the occasion of the launching of Titan Plastic Challenge pilot project of Asia Pacific region and the Better World Framework Training Workshops. Today, we are launching two important events, such as launching of Titan Plastic Challenge pilot project of Asia Pacific region, which 100 scouts, including Cubs, Junior Scouts, Senior Scouts, Rover Scouts, have been already selected to train for Titan Plastic Challenge. And also, we are launching the Better World Framework Training Workshops. Sri Lanka Scout Association has already introduced all Better World Framework badges, include to the youth program from Cub Scouts to Rover Scouts, sent the circulars to the districts, and now we are about to launch the training workshops for each badge on separate days for district coordinators and badge examiners, and implement this from 2021. I highly appreciate the support given from the Asia Pacific region office while selecting Sri Lanka Scout Association for the pilot project of Asia Pacific Regional Titan Plastic Challenge. I would like to take this opportunity to convey my sincere thanks to Asia Pacific region, especially to our friend, Mr. Sid Castello, Director Education Methods, Asia Pacific Regional Support Center of WASM, and giving the keynote address today for this occasion. He is also always be with us to improve the standards in scouting in Sri Lanka. I would like to thank Mr. Meril Gunatilaka, the President of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, Mr. Kapila Kalyana Perda, the Chairman of the Committee of the Council, and Mr. Kamalanath Jinadasa, the Secretary of the SLSA, and Mr. Uday Iddavala, Treasurer of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, and the Committee of the Council for their tremendous support. I especially thank the Chief Commissioner of Sri Lanka Scout Association, Major General Milinda Piris, who is giving necessary advice, guidance, and encouragement to us to improve the standards of scouting in Sri Lanka. And to the Deputy Chief Commissioner, Committee Member of the WOSM, Mr. Janaprit Fernando, who is with us all times and give his fullest support to achieve all our goals. I highly appreciate the support given by the other senior commissioners, headquarters commissioners, district commissioners, assistant district commissioners, and the district coordinators to implement this project at all levels. Finally, I highly appreciate the tremendous hard work done by the assistant chief commissioner in charge of media and the co-chairman of the committee of the Better World Framework Badges Initiative Committee, Mr. Prabhat Kularatne, and the secretary, Dr. Asanke Eriav, and all the members of the committee, and also organize this event in a grand scale. Hope we will achieve all our goals through a strong teamwork with high sense of scouting spirit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear sir. So let me invite International Commissioner of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, Dr. Rajiv Piris, to add his greetings for the today's ceremony. Over to you, sir. Sir, you are muted and
Chief Commissioner, Deputy Chief Commissioner, President, Chairman, and members of the Committee of the Council, members of the APR, all the officials from the APR, then Prabhat and all other commissioners of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, Better World coordinators and other people affiliated with Better World Scouts, Singiti Cubs, Rovers, leaders, and friends. Thank you very much for inviting me for this historic occasion. It's actually very encouraging to see so much of work being done in a little country like ours. As you know, plastics take between 500 to 1,000 years to degrade, whereas even a tin can takes about 100 years. So firstly, plastics give a huge load to the environment, as many speakers said. Then the products like bags and all can go and do damage. So the path is very clear. We have to stop using plastics, keep away from straws, keep away from bags, go for reusables. Then we can recycle as much as possible. I'm happy to say that in Sri Lanka, the entire gardening industry, the pots and things, the pots, the flowering pots are made out of recycled plastic. Several companies in the world are now making house bricks, and they claim you can make houses much more hardier, and quickly than conventional methods by using plastic bricks. So that's something new. The other thing is, of course, to use degradable alternatives. We see it in supermarket bags and other things. Then, of course, comes the huge thing: collection, disposal, and minimizing the damage caused by plastic finished products. Now, that's all the emphasis on the Titan Plastic Challenge comes to that part of the game. So it's indeed a very opportune thing. We can see the results of stressing the environment too much. One way or the other, the environment and nature will hit back at humanity. We are in the midst of one of those, I think, and Prabhat and the gang, Asanka and the gang, they are doing a marvelous job. And congratulations for getting this opportunity from APR. Thank you, APR, for supporting us. And I wish you all the very best for doing this endeavor to the best possible levels. So thank you and all the best.
thank you very much, dear sir. So we have another special guest for today's program. So let me invite the chairman of the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Scout Council, Mr. Kapila Kallani Perera, to add his greetings for today's program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Asanka. It's a great opportunity. I suppose our Honorable President, Mr. Meril Gunatilaka, also connected in. The President of SLSA, Chief Commissioner, Deputy Chief Commissioner, International Commissioner, and other commissioners. This is a very great opportunity given to Sri Lanka Scout Association because we were highly contacted with WOSM and APR scouting. So the Better World framework was introduced more than 5 years ago, but unfortunately we were not in a position to take part up to now. So getting that opportunity is also a very good achievement, what I feel. So in this connection, great thing, and I wish my blessings, and I need to appreciate people who are taking part with organizing this event, including Assistant Chief Commissioner Prabhat Kularatne and also Dr. Asanka and other stakeholders in the behind the scene. So it's a great actually necessity of the hour, because we all know how extent the environmental damage made by the plastic. මං හිතන්නේ මේ වැඩසටහනට සහභාගී වෙලා ඉන්න මේ දරුවෝ බොහෝ දෙනෙක් දන්නවා ප්ලාස්ටික් භාවිතයෙන් අපේ රටට එහෙම නැත්නම් අපේ මුළු ලෝකෙටම ඔක්කොමන හානියක් වෙනවද කියලා. මේ දරුවෝ සහ මේ බාලදක්ෂ නායකයෝ මේ විශේෂයෙන් බාලදක්ෂ නායකයෝ තමන්ගේ ළමා කාලය එහෙම නැත්නම් කුඩා කාලයට අවධානය යොමු කරොත් අපිට අපේ කාලේ අපි කුඩා කාලේදී මෙහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබ්බේ නැහැ. මම පෞද්ගලික අත්දැකීමක් තිබෙනවා. මම කැලණි ගඟේ ඒ කැලණි මිටියාවතේ ඇවිදගෙන එහෙම නැත්නම් වාහනයක යන වෙලාවල් දෙකක් මම අපිට ඇතිලා තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න ගැන දකින වෙලාවලදී මම කැලණි මිටියාවතේ ඇවිදගෙන යනකොට 1990 වගේ කාලෙදී මම දැක්කේ වැස්ස දවස්වලට ගඟ කොහොමද යන්නේ. මේ ගඟේ පාවෙලා ගියේ උණ බට, ලී කොටන්, එහෙම නැත්නම් ප්‍රොඩු වගේ දේවල්. ඒවා සියල්ලම දිරන දේවල්. ඒවා අර වතුරත් එක්ක ගොඩබිම් වල තිබිලා කාණු වල තිබිලා ගසාගෙන යනවා අපි දැක්කා. නමුත් දැන් මේ 20 වෙනි සතවර්ෂයේ අන්තිම හරිය එහෙම නැත්නම් 21 වෙනි සතවර්ෂයේ මුල් කාලේට අපි ඇවිල්ලා තියෙද්දි අපි අද වැස්ස දවස් ගම්මතුරු කාලයක කැලණි ගඟේ උරේ ඇවිදගෙන යනකොට අපිට දකින්න හම්බෙන්නේ විශාල ප්ලාස්ටික් බූලි ප්‍රමාණයක්, ප්ලාස්ටික් බෑග් ප්‍රමාණයක්, ප්ලාස්ටික් බෝතල් ප්‍රමාණයක් සහ ගෝයන කුණු ගොඩක් ගහගෙන යන අවස්ථාවක් තමයි අපිට දකින්න ලැබිලා තිබෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම අපි ගිහිල්ලා දැන් මේ කැලණි ගඟේ ගහගෙන යන ප්ලාස්ටික් ටික මූදට වැටුණයින් පස්සේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් බම්බල පිටිය සිට කළුතර දක්වා වෙරළදීරයට මේවා සැරින් සැරේ ගොඩ ගහනවා. අපි කුඩා කාලේ වෙරළට ගිහිපුවාම අපිට එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබ්බේ නැහැ. ගඟෙන් ඇවිල්ලා තිබ්බ පොටයක් එහෙම නැත්නම් පොල් ගෙඩි වගේ දෙයක් අර උණ බට. නමුත් අද දවසේ වෙනකොට මේක ඉතාමත්ම භයානක තත්ත්වයක්. ප්ලාස්ටික් අඩුගානේ මූදට බැස්සාම කකුලේ තෙන්නේ ලන්ච් ෂීට් එකක්. මේක ඉතා භයානක තත්ත්වයක්. ඉතින් මේක කොහොමද අඩු කරගන්නේ කියන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් මට මතක විදිහට මේ ප්ලාස්ටික් ටයිට් ටර්න බැජ් එකට අදාළ ආරම්භය ලබා දුන්නේ අප්‍රිකානු මහද්වීපයට අදාළව අප්‍රිකානු බාල දක්ෂ කලාපයෙන් ඒ හරහා ලෝක බාල දක්ෂ සංවිධානය මේ වැඩසටහන අනුයුක්ත කරගෙන ඒක හා සම්බන්ධව අපිට අවස්ථාව ලබා දීලා තිබෙනවා better world framework වැඩසටහන තුල අවස්ථාවක් ලබා දෙන්න. ඉතින් මම හුඟක් සන්තෝෂ වෙනවා මේක ශ්‍රී ලංකා බාල දක්ෂ සංගමේ දරුවන්ට හඳුන්වලා දීලා මේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නය මේ තියෙන ව්‍යසනය මොකක්ද කියන එක දරුවෝ තේරුම් අරන් ඒ වගේම එක ප්ලාස්ටික් බෑග් එකක් එක ප්ලාස්ටික් බෝතලයක් එක ප්ලාස්ටික් උපකරණයක් අපි දෙපාරක් පාවිච්චි කරොත් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කරන්න ඕන එකක් ඒක reuse recycle කියන දෙක මේ ගානේ අවම කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. එක දරුවෙක් අවම වශයෙන් මේ ප්ලාස්ටික් උපකරණ දෙපාරක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පෙළඹුණොත් අපේ වැඩසටහන එතනින්ම සාර්ථක වෙනවා කියන අදහස පෙරපරි කරගෙන ඔබ සියලු දෙනාට මේ 2021 වර්ෂයේදී වාසනාවන්ත ලෙස බාල දක්ෂ ව්‍යාපාරේ කටයුතු කරන්න ලැබේවයි කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන ගමන්ම මේ අදාළ වැඩසටහන වෙනුවෙන් කටයුතු කරපු සියලු දෙනාට ශ්‍රී ලංකා බාල දක්ෂ කවුන්සිලේ සිලෝන් ස්කවුට් කවුන්සිල්හි සුබ පැතුම් පුද කරන්න කැමතියි. බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
Thank you very much, dear sir. So at this moment, we would like to thank to the Better World Framework Curriculum Development Team, especially the National Program Commissioner, Assistant Chief Commissioner in charge of Cub Scouting, Mrs. Vatsala Vijayavikrama, and Assistant Chief Commissioner in charge of Rover Scouting, Ms. Srilad Silva, and Mr. Rohan Virasekara for their valuable inputs and the support given to develop the Better World Framework batch curricula. So I would like to invite the Chief Commissioner of Sri Lanka Scout Association and today's chief guest of the event, Major General Bilinda Piris, to address the gathering to motivate the young people and adult leaders who are connected virtually today. Over to you, sir.
Mr. Said Cashlow, Director Education Methods, Asia Pacific Regional Support Center of WOSM, our keynote speaker today. And thank you so much for your very informative and educative keynote address that you delivered to motivate our Sri Lankan Scouts and the leaders in our Scout Association. Engineer Meril Gunatilaka, President of the Sri Lanka Scout Council, Mr. Kapila Kalyanapera, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Scout Council, Mr. Janapit Fernando, Deputy Chief Commissioner and the member of the World Scout Committee, members of the Committee of Council, Mr. Nanda Fernando, National Training Commissioner, Mr. Sarath Matararachi, National Program Commissioner, Dr. Rajiv Piris, International Commissioner, Mr. Prabhat Kulratna, Assistant Chief Commissioner in charge of the Better World Framework, who is the Master of Ceremonies today, other senior commissioners of the Sri Lanka Scout Association, headquarter commissioners, district commissioners, ADC programs, and TTPC district coordinators and other district coordinators of Better World Framework initiatives. Dear Scouts and parents, I am delighted to address this massive gathering of 1,000 young people representing the 70,000 Scout population of the Sri Lanka Scout Association. They have been selected for this precise occasion of Tide Turner's Plastic Challenge pilot project, supported by the Asia Pacific Regional Support Center of the World Organization of the Scout Movement. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Mr. J. Rizal Pangalingan, the Regional Director of APR, and Mr. Said Kaslow, Director Education Methods, Asia Pacific Regional Support Center of World Organization of Scout Movement, for giving Sri Lanka Scout Association this opportunity. We really greatly appreciate your initiative on this, and we will take this challenge and we'll ensure that this project, the pilot project, being successful in Sri Lanka with the teamwork of all the commissioners, leaders, and the scouts together. Dear Scouts, first of all, let me enlighten you briefly about the Better World Framework. It is a set of programs, campaigns, partnerships, and events designed to make young people actively participate in achieving United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Many speakers spoke about this, so I will not deliberate on that. This initiative helps young people like you to build competencies needed to be active global citizen, because we need to be active global citizen. So you are being groomed to be an active global citizen. So you have to think of the 17 sustainable goals which are being designed for the betterment of the mankind in the world. This initiative helps young people like you to build competencies, and also the plastic tide turner is one of the educational programs conducted by the Better World Framework to encourage young people in taking action to protect the planet, provide support in natural disasters, and contribute to minimize climatic changes. Under this program, Tide Turner's Plastic Challenge Initiative has been launched. This shows young people tangible and fun way of reducing the use of single-use plastic in their homes, schools, and communities. It also shows how much you could reduce plastic waste will contribute to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. I would urge the scouts and parents to start this from your home itself. That's the ideal place to start off it. Do not use water bottles. Do not use lunch sheets. Do not use any other plastic micro things. So you first set an example from your home itself. Then take it to the school and ensure that they are also, instead of taking water bottles, plastic water bottles, you have reverse osmosis plants established in your schools, or at least water filters. Then you don't have to carry water bottles to the school. And similarly, you can have your own initiatives, like we saw a video clip of a Sri Lankan student has initiated and invented a lunch sheet. So you need to also get involved in thinking of these things and go into research and see what you could do for the nation, for the betterment of the world. We have chosen 1,000 young people from CUP, Junior Scout, Senior Scout, and Rover Scout sections to take part in this challenge. During the program, you will learn to review your own use of plastic and many ways of reducing the proliferation of plastic usage. And many speakers have educated you on this, those who have spoken before me. I'm sure your contribution will make a change in the country, and you will be the leaders in introducing this concept in Sri Lanka as young scouts and rovers. I wish you all, you will be able to become the first batch of young people to be awarded with the Tide Turner Plastic Challenge badge in Sri Lanka, and it will be written in the history of Sri Lanka Scouting. Dear district coordinators appointed for Better World Framework initiatives, today marks the inauguration of the Better World Framework training workshops in Sri Lanka. I urge you to actively take part in these workshops and get the maximum benefits to be trained as the badge examiners of your districts, and also to motivate the young scouts to be involved in this kind of projects. I request you to facilitate the scouts in your districts to engage more in Better World Framework initiatives to win international badges. Finally, I would like to recall the hard work done by the Assistant Chief Commissioner in charge of Better World Framework, Mr. Prabhat Kulratna, and Project Manager of the project and the Headquarter Commissioner, Dr. Asanke Iriawa, and all relevant Assistant Chief Commissioners, Headquarter Commissioners, Special Commissioners, District Commissioners, every one of you, those who have got involved to make this project a successful project. And I wish you good luck, and we will work together and ensure that this project being implemented successfully in Sri Lanka. And finally, we will be the stakeholders, one of the stakeholders to reduce plastic usage in Sri Lanka. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you very much for the valuable input, sir. Now it's 7 o'clock. We are on time. With that, we came to the end of today's event, but to a beginning of a new venture. At last, I would like to thank you all for joining today's program. And while watching the last video, I would like to request you all young people and adult leaders to join us with the scheduled training sessions, which will be conducted in Sinhala and Tamil, your mother language. Stay healthy, stay safe, and good night.
හැමිල්ටන් ඇල හරහා ඒ කියන්නේ මම ජීවත් වෙන ප්‍රදේශයේ ඇල හරහා ප්ලාස්ටික් විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් හවස් වෙද්දී මුහුදට ගලා යනවා. ඒ කොම් එකතු කරලා ඇතෙක් වගේ නිර්මාණ කරන්න පුළුවන් ලොකු ප්ලාස්ටික් ප්‍රමාණයක් එකතු වෙනවා කියන එක පෙන්වන්න තමයි මට මිනිසුන්ට උමනා කරේ. මම ලලිත් සේනානායක, මම වෘත්තියෙන් චිත්‍ර ශිල්පියෙක්.
මම රුවන්ති පෙරේරා, ලේඛිකාවක්.
මේ ඇතා අඩි 12ක් උසයි, අඩි 15ක් දිගයි. මෙයාගේ අපි පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙනවා ප්ලාස්ටික් වර්ග 1300ක් විතර.
ඔයිල් බොටල්ස් තියෙනවා, වාහන වලට පාවිච්චි කරන ඒවා. එතකොට මේවා මම හිතන්නේ ගොඩක් දිවරයෝ වතුර ගෙනියන කෑන්ස් වගේ දේවල්. ඉතින් මේවා කපලා තමයි අපි පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට පියන්, මේ සෙල්ලම් බඩු ಜಾති, කෝප්ප ගොඩක්ම අපිට බෝතල් සහ කෑන්ස් තමයි මේ බීච් එකෙන් හම්බ වෙන ප්ලාස්ටික්.
මේකට මම යකඩ ෆ්‍රේම් එකක් භාවිතා කරලා ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එකක් හදලා ඒකට ඇලවීමක් කරලා තමයි ප්ලාස්ටික් එකිනෙක සම්බන්ධ කරලා මේ නිර්මාණය ඉදිරිපත් කරේ.
මේක දකිද්දි සමහරලාට අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන් මගේ සෙල්ලම් බඩුවක්ද දරුවෙක් හිතන්න පුළුවන්. අපි ඇත්තටම මේ අදහස ගෙනියන්න ඕනේ දරුවන්ට. මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි අනාගතේ මේ ලෝකේ බාරගන්නේ.
Thank you very much.